Hello, everybody. My name is M. Ryan Taylor from ukuleleplay.com, and I'm pretty excited because today I get to do a review from something I received in the mail yesterday. This is a new ukulele by Fender, and let me go ahead and read you what it has in the sound hole here on their label. This is the Fullerton series ukuleles, iconic shapes since 1946. And Fullerton, California. And the model number here is the Fullerton Strat Uke SB. It's got a serial number here, crafted in China, and then says based on classic Fender designs. So we've got this Stratocaster design here for an ukulele. And as you can see, it is, I'm going to hold it up in front of my eyes here, so hopefully it will focus. Yeah, there we go. It's going to focus on that a little bit better. And you can see we have got just a very pretty uke, right? Got the Fender logo there. Sunburst. The sunburst continues over on the sides and on the back. And that is just kind of gorgeous, right? I love sunburst. Another thing that's kind of cool here is we've got this pick guard. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And then of course we have the tuners all on one side of the ukulele as opposed to having two and two so that it matches the Stratocaster design. I'm going to talk about things I don't like first, and then I'm going to talk about all the things I do like, okay? Get the bad out of the way first. First of all, maybe you can see this, but this might be just a little bit of a quality control issue. If you look here on the fretboard, you might notice there is some wear. It looks like where the finish was not entirely put on properly there. Okay, so just a few little spots here where it's not perfect. Now, honestly, that doesn't bother me too much because over time your fretboard's going to get weathered anyway. But you would think straight out of the box that it wouldn't have sort of that look like the finish has been rubbed off already. But I do love the sort of the ivory binding here. And there's some other good things to say about this. Another thing, the other negative though was one thing I have noticed here, and I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to get it up here in front of my eyes again. But hopefully you can see how very high this saddle is on the bridge, right? So you should be able to see, even if it's kind of blurry, this really is about at least, it looks like 1/8 of an inch too high to me. And so there's tons of space in between the strings and the fretboard down here at the 15th to 17th fret. So those are kind of the two things right now that I'm looking at and I'm like not super excited about. But there's a lot good things happening here too. So one of them, which I think is sort of the triumphant highlight feature here of this ukulele, is their tuning system. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to see if I can't get a good, yep, there it is. Okay, so you can see that. Now I'm going to try and hold it so there's no reflections. But you notice what we've got here is sort of a snark style display that is super fast. Oops. Let me get one of those, not two. It's hard to do upside down, right? So you got this wonderful snark style tuner on here with the tuning bars. bars. I'm just making sure we're still in really good tune. This has only been out of the box for about a half an hour, and the strings are really holding good tuning. The A is a little bit down, but that is totally to be expected. In fact, it's unexpected how well this is tuning up. I was for sure thinking I was going to have to do a sort of introductory video, stop tape, and come back and roll some sound samples, because usually on an ukulele that's brand new out of the box, it hasn't really been tuned up at all, and the strings are so slack that it will take it days in order for it to start staying in tune for more than a couple minutes. And so you can hear there's your first My Dog Has Fleas. My dog has fleas, right? And so that gives you a basic sound profile. It's not the deepest sounding ukulele I've ever played, but it actually has a nice respectable sound right out of the box. Okay. Another good thing is we've got Ukuleles strings on here. Okay, so we've got the Super Nile gut strings, and then we've got free online lessons, right, with their playfender.com 30-day free trial, right? So that's pretty cool. One last thing that I'm not too crazy about is I'm always a little bit disappointed when I get one of these tags attached to something, but this is the California Proposition 65 warning that they have to put on anything that has a material that has been known to cause cancer and reproductive harm. And who knows what's in here that is causing them to have to put that label on there. I would love it if they didn't have to do that. It could be just the solder in the wires, right? You know, so if they did some soldering in here for the pickup system, which they had to do, then that might be the thing that's on there that's causing them to have to put that label on there. Whenever I see that label, I sort of grimace, but I just ignore it because I figure, well, it can't be that terrible. But if you're concerned about that, you might want to look up and see what exactly is on or in this ukulele that causes them to have to put that label there. So one more time, there's the Fender headstock there. I like the logo that they've got on there. It's kind of classy looking. And the nut is like perfection. It's just like absolutely, let me get that in front of my eyes. Yep, there we go. So that is like just the right level. It's just perfect. So the other side is going to need to be taken down at least 1/8 of an inch. But they got the nut spot on. And the nut's the much harder one to adjust. And so, because you have to take the strings off and you have to file it down, and if you file down too far, well, then you've ruined your nut. So with the saddle, though, if you have to adjust that, which oftentimes they do need to be adjusted on many ukuleles, I'm just noticing that this one's even higher than I normally see. This does have the little slotted grooves, okay, for changing strings, and that's always an easy way to do it because you just tie a knot and then put the knot into that slot and bring it over and then tie them up top. So you don't need a complex classical knot or anything when you're changing strings on this one. The pickup's down here. It's not in the middle. And so if I was going to make a suggestion, I would say, you know, take this and move it to the middle and make a combo jack so that it is a strap button as well as a pickup jack. I need to look inside this and see if there's a wood block inside. I can't see it from here without some kind of flashlight, and I might even need a mirror. So I'm not sure if a strap button can be installed down here. I like to use a strap personally, and so that is a disappointment that there isn't a strap button. I would probably install one here in the heel, and then if I could, once I check the wood, I would install one down here as well. Alternatively, though, I mean, if you are one of those people that doesn't like to put strap buttons in your ukulele, you can always use a lanyard strap, goes around your neck, comes in with a J-hook, and attaches right there. And then you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, I like this pick guard. If any of you have seen videos of me with my spruce top Lanakai ukulele, you can see that this area of the ukulele is all munched up from just from strumming and tapping on my ukulele, right? Because I've got my massive ukulele fingernails here. I'll hold it in front of my face right there. Now you can see them, right? Okay, so I got my big honkin' ukulele fingernails, right? And so when I tap, sometimes keeping the beat for my students and things like that, I've managed to chew that area up pretty good. And plus with strumming, you can hit that area as well. And so it's nice to have a pick guard. Even though most ukulele players don't use picks, this will protect it from strum damage as well. And so that's kind of a cool feature for it to have. I know that goes along with the look of the ukulele, but it's also practical. We've got fret markers on the 5th, 7th, 10th, 12th, 15th frets, and they are also, as you can see, if I hold it right, yeah, get it right over my eyes. Come on, focus in. There we go. Got some nice fret dots there, okay, on the side. And that's always a bonus, especially for beginners, because beginners are always trying to turn their ukuleles up and look at the top, right? So they can see where their fingers are. And having those fret markers on the side is just a bonus, a really big plus for beginning players. We've got these enclosed tuners on the back. I like that. It does add a little bit of weight. This ukulele does seem a little bit heavy towards the neck side of things, right? So if I was trying to balance it a little bit, you can see I'm sort of getting a balance in the middle, but not really, right? I'm more around the 14th fret here, right? 14th or 15th fret before I actually get a balance. And so maybe a little bit heavy on the neck. They could solve that problem by just removing a little bit more neck material, and so that the ukulele would be just a little bit more balanced. But honestly, for me and my uses and me using it with a strap, I know that's a big issue for people who play it the traditional style, who like to tuck it in on their arm, and then this side feels heavy to them, right? But when you're playing with a strap, it's just really not as big a deal, that balance issue. So let me just run it through a few chords here so you can hear what it sounds like. And I'll run it down the neck a little bit. Right? And then as far as finger picking goes, little chopsticks there. I think this has a good sound. It is not the brightest ukulele I've heard. It is just is a little bit muted in its tone. and it's not the deepest sounding ukulele I've ever heard, and I think that's partially because of the narrow or the slim line profile here. You know, it's a little bit less thick than your usual ukulele, so it's going to have not quite as much in the deep end, but it's respectable, right? I think it's a good sounding ukulele, and I think as far as the intonation goes, let me check it with their own tuner. So you got the G there in tune. It's a little bit sharp up there. The C is coming in either a little flat or right on. The E is coming in sharp. And the A is coming in right about right. Okay, so there is some intonation issues around the 12th fret. You know, if you're only playing up to the 5th fret or the 7th fret, I doubt that that's really going to encroach upon you. But if you're a player that likes to play up higher, you definitely are going to want to have your saddle adjusted so that the intonation gets a little bit better up there. I don't know if that will fix all the issues. I would have to try it out first and see. But there does seem to be a little bit of intonation problem up there. So you can start to hear that a little bit right here around the 7th fret. Around the 5th fret it wasn't so bad, right? But around the 7th fret, you can start to hear how that chord is starting to sound a little bit wonky. So 7th fret. So definitely before I would really start playing this ukulele, I would want to get my saddle adjusted. Just one more time with rundown. So there you go. There is the Fullerton series ukuleles, Fullerton Strat Uke SB, and the Sunburst with the pickup and the super cool tuner. Okay, that is like the coolest tuner I've ever seen. I wish other ukulele players would like follow suit on this and start putting in some real tuners on the sides of their ukuleles instead of those horrible LCD ones that just have like an arrow pointing to either way. So once again, I am M. Ryan Taylor from ukuleleplay.com. If you would like to see further videos, you can support videos at patreon.com/uke. And I have lots of bonuses and extras there for all my patrons, and I'm very grateful to them. So thank you to my patrons out there who might be watching this video. I really do appreciate your support. And until next time, uke on.